What's up, everyone? My name is Justin Odisho, and in this video, I wanted to take a look at Kanye West's new album cover art. Now, I'll stop you right there. This is not about politics. This is not about any controversy, whatever. All that aside, we're strictly looking at the creative process of a successful artist and the fact that this album cover for his new album, Yay, he shot this album artwork himself on his iPhone. If you are on Twitter, if you follow along to things on Twitter, you'll see this tweet. I actually retweeted it of Kim Kardashian saying Kanye shot the album cover on his iPhone on the way to the album listening party. So I think this brings up an interesting point that I've actually done before on my channel. I made a video when he did release the Life of Pablo album. There was actually a lot of like stir up about that album artwork, which you could see right in the bottom right corner. There's that orange one with all the text. People thought that album cover was like too simple, or they said like it looks like a second grader could make it, or my 3-year-old could make that. And actually, these are all of Kanye's album artworks laid out because there's a lot I think we can get into. So I made a video. If you don't know, on my channel, I have a whole playlist called album cover art recreations. It was just something fun I was doing in Photoshop where I would try to like remake album covers or make tutorials about album cover arts. But I think it brings into discussion the point of, what is good enough? Do you need fancy equipment, or can you literally make a lot of stuff right on your phone? Granted, I would consider this fancy equipment technically, but everyone has a phone in their pocket with a camera nowadays, like a lot of people do. But you'd think, right? You'd think that a multi-platinum Grammy award winning artist such as Kanye West, like him or not, we're talking about very successful music and creation. You'd think that someone like him would need the best, fanciest budget and the nicest camera and the most perfection, and want this to be sitting for weeks, etc., etc. Um, Actually, recently, you guys know Pusha T, the another rapper on the Good Music label, who's getting into the news with all this beef with Drake, dropped his album Daytona, and just to be able to use the album cover art for that, I believe Kanye or someone on their team had to license this photograph that they used for somewhere around upwards of like $70,000 or $75,000. This is a photo of Whitney Houston's bathroom, I think, something like that. I haven't done all the research, but obviously it ties into like Pusha T's lyrical matter and all that. But this photo right here, they licensed and were willing to pay like $70,000 or $80,000 to license this photo. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why Kanye is like, we spent too much on Pusha T's album. I'm gonna shoot mine for free. But I mean, obviously Kanye doesn't care about the money. He's not doing this. I mean, I don't know. He's not doing this because like he needs to be on a budget. Maybe, I don't know actually. But I think it brings in. Here's another good tweet. So when I made this tweet, right? You don't need fancy equipment. I got a good response actually from Chase, who follows me on Twitter. He might be in the chat right now. He says, "To be fair, it's Kanye. He could draw it on an Etch-a-Sketch using only his mouth, and people would say it's perfect." And I think that's a double-edged point because that's true. Like, there's hype beast out. Like, he just released the merch for the album too. Some people saying it looks like throw up on a T-shirt, and some people will probably be willing to pay hundreds of dollars for it just because it's Kanye, because there's hype around it and there's hype beast, whatever, whatever. But has what has made his work get to the point where he can just snap a spontaneous photo of Wyoming and people will say it's a great cover, or he can just draw a line and people will say it's great. I think that speaks to perhaps like building your creative reputation or taking risks, but I'm getting kind of off topic here. All I wanted to see now, if we compare this to all of his other covers, all I wanted to kind of demonstrate is that you don't need fancy equipment, right? If the one of the biggest artists of the past like decade is willing, I guess he can take these risks. I don't know, but if this is passable, and that's up to you whether you think this is passable for artwork or not. If this is passable for artwork for a project that is for sure going to have a lot of eyeballs on it, it's not like this is his debut mixtape and it doesn't really matter because not a lot of people are going to say it. If this is passable for such a big name project, then consider in your own projects and your own artwork, what's holding you back? You know, are you thinking that you need that new 4K camera and you don't want to upload a video, or you don't want to make your project until you get that upgrade, or until you have better quality, until you get this nice mic and nice lighting or whatever? Or can you just let it work and make it work? Let me see what you guys are saying, because I kind of have gone off track a little bit. Piff Peterson says you don't need fancy gear to have projects. However, he's at the stage in a successful career where he can do that, and this cover is real to what the message of the album is. So yeah, I agree. It's kind of a double-edged point, you know? On one hand, though, he has the most to lose. On the other hand, he's already had a long, successful career, and maybe he doesn't have anything to lose in that regard, as like he doesn't care. But let's actually compare it to his previous album covers. If you want my opinion, and I've been a fan since The College Dropout. If you want my opinion, like first thoughts, the music is like I like the music so far, but first thoughts, I actually think it's one of the weakest album covers so far. I shouldn't say weakest. I should say it's one of the album cover arts that I think maybe it won't age the best. I don't know. It's been a day. He supposedly took this picture yesterday. So you guys ever like take a bunch of photos or make a bunch of things or make a bunch of videos, and then you let them sit for a couple weeks or a couple months, and then you go back and some of them are still good and some of them were only good in the moment? I'm not sure if this is one of those cases where it'll only be good in the moment, whereas like the original College Dropout cover with the bear, classic, iconic. It's still good to this day. The Graduation bear, the 808s and Heartbreaks, the what was this album with Jay-Z? I forgot the name of it. Watch the Throne. The Watch the Throne cover, pretty cool. My Beautiful Twisted Fantasy, great cover. The only other two of the covers that were also weird and experimental like this are the Yeezus cover, that one on the top right, and the Life of Pablo cover, the one on the very bottom right. And I think those have aged just fine. Although, it seems like the more experimental the album cover, the less the album has been ranked in a way. But yeah, I just wanted to make that point. If you guys do want to check out on my channel, I actually did the same kind of video when he released The Life of Pablo. And I have actually some Photoshop tutorials where we go in and try to recreate some different album covers just to maybe show you guys some techniques. But most album covers usually involve, a lot of album covers involve photography of some sort, which is hard to recreate. But yeah, love Kanye, hate him, controversy aside, politics aside, we're simply taking a look at a project and the creative direction behind it. And I really love personally how music and album artwork like take shape of each other. It's one of my favorite things actually. I love album artwork too that's just like a solid color, like that one Beatles album, just the white album. But anyways, I'm going to see what you guys are saying for some final thoughts. If you guys enjoyed this live stream, hit that thumbs up button. I'm going to be having the replay up, so that's why I'm keep it concise. Let me know what you think. Do you need fancy gear? Do you think this album cover is trash and maybe he should have done better with like a more professional setup? Or did you enjoy the whole rollout of the album going to Wyoming and the nice little green? I do like the green writing. It matches the merch and all that. But let's see what everyone's saying. Mason says the album's just a vibe and the album cover flows with that vibe. It's simple and beautiful. I agree. It seems like a all spontaneous feel. No matter who made the new cover, you love it. Prash. You love the cover. Ye seems happy and the music reflects that. The last two albums in 808s are weak. Kanye's weird. Wait, so this is a real cover? Yep. A lot of other people would get crapped on for this cover. That's a fair point. Crazy how you can get rich and that's what affords you to be cheap. Another interesting point. You don't get the album for the photo, you get it for the musical content. That's a great point, Joshua. I think if you have a great musical, like if the music is good, whatever you choose for the artwork, your brain is going to associate that and the artwork is going to be awesome to you. If the artwork is awesome but the music sucks, it's going to fall flat in association, and every time you think of that album artwork, you're going to think of crappy music. So I think that'll do it for this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Again, always doing more live streams, more everything. So subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. Go follow me on Instagram, everybody. If you're not yet, DM me. Let me know, what do you think of this album cover or album? If you want to continue this conversation, at Justin OD Show on Instagram. Best place to reach out to me. I do answer all of your DMs. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next live stream. I hate being bipolar. It's awesome. Yay. And I'm